It's been a rough week. This week has. Sometimes those weeks that just kind of make you wish that you didn't really have to be here anymore. Um, Kind of wanted to run over depersonalization and God and maybe those two things because lately it's just been the depersonalization's been coming back and rearing its ugly head, and it's kind of sometimes so difficult to make ends of it what you're actually experiencing. And it's nice when I hear from other people who kind of deal with the same things sometimes. It's just, sometimes it just grips you in such a weird place that you just don't really know how to respond to it. I mean, it kind of crushes your whole view, your hope, your pride, maybe. Your just appreciation for life, I suppose, and how you feel about others, because it makes everything kind of the same, mushed up mashed potatoes. It just crushes everything into one little pinhole view, and everything's kind of not real, and you don't know what to make of it. You don't even think maybe you're even actually experiencing what you're experiencing. You think that it's some kind of dream, but it's hard because you have nowhere to go when you get scared. You can just I pray that helps. I cried earlier because it was so bad. It gets so brutal, and I had to pray for it, and then I felt better after that. It's insane. I guess I don't feel like I'm actually a real person, and I don't really exist, and it's hard to even figure out where you are in your own body. It kind of just it's like you don't know yourself, but maybe that's maybe the goal, is to be destroyed in some kind of way so something new can come out of it. That's why I like to associate God, I think, into my sufferings, because that's the only thing really that I think gives it meaning, is to think that I'm being stripped away of all my old stuff so something new can give way. But it's really hard to imagine having yourself destroyed, and like maybe that everything's going to be different. It's really painful. There's been a lot going on this week, and it's been pretty gnarly. But I suppose you have to try to keep the faith, and sometimes you really just don't feel like it. You feel like being pissed off and upset, and it's just I don't know where to take these feelings, I guess. And I think a lot of people have the same issues, because it seems like it's even worse than being alone. At least when you're alone, you have yourself. But when you're struck with depersonalization, you don't really even have that anymore. It's kind of like you're kind of just falling, falling through space, or like a hole, and you have nothing to grab onto until, I guess, until you hit the bottom. And then once you hit the bottom, it's dark and you can't see, and maybe eventually you make your way back up to the top. But it feels like you can't really ever get that far, because no matter what you're doing and no matter what's going on, it feels like that feeling's always there, waiting in the background for something to trigger it or something to happen, and then you fall back down the hole and you got to climb out again. And I wonder how many times someone can climb out of the same hole before they just kind of choose to just bury themselves, or just decide that they're kind of just done with it. It makes me think what's going on really here. Like, what is this, and why did it happen, and do we choose this, and like, what's the end goal here? Reality doesn't make sense as it is. It's so confusing. I don't even understand what I'm interpreting, or what I'm seeing, or what I'm feeling, or even what consciousness is. Like, how is this even a possible thing? And like, atoms and molecules kind of all came together and created different kinds of things and structures and hardness and different kinds of like around my room, like plants, and it's like everything has its own little place bunched together, yet they're separate, but they're the same thing. It's like it doesn't even make sense to why not everything's just the same thing. And how consciousness came to exist in a place so full of misery, is baffling to me. It seems like that's kind of the story of the Bible anyway. It's like consciousness came in a body, but it doesn't make sense. I don't know why. Like when they talk about Jesus, he came and died in the flesh, and that's God in the flesh, and then he died to save us from our sins and covered us with his blood. But it's at the same time, I understand that on like maybe a physical interpretation, but it's like the abstract meaning that passes me over. Like there's something there, but I'm missing it, and it's like my goal to try to understand what it is that I'm missing. What is there that I can feel it. I feel it with my soul, but I just don't have a firm grasp on it yet. And it's like I don't understand. And I guess it's hard to even understand where I'm at in my own body. It's like there's so much pressure on the outside, and it accumulates on the inside as well. And I kind of just feel like I'm ceasing to really exist even anymore. And it's kind of breaking, but eventually it's like something good has to come out of it, right? I mean, you break so much and then you can't really break anymore. And I know, and I think my sufferings aren't, they suck and they're my own cross to bear, but at the same time it's like, I feel for people who suffer differently than I do. Maybe you lose all your parents or your kids die, and you deal with stuff like this too on top of it, and it's weird what we do. It's weird what this is. These feelings seem more real than reality does, like dreams. It's hard to make sense out of everything. It's just a weird place, and I'm in a weird spot in my head here. I can just feel myself kind of slipping away. I know, hopefully I'll probably end up coming back eventually, but I wish whatever's happening would happen already, and I could figure out what the point of this is, I guess. Maybe I'll figure that out in the next life here, because this one is just hard. Feels like there's a lot of things that compile on top of this. It's not only that, but it's like these emotions are so heavy too, and the physical symptoms and the heart racing, and it's hard for me to even be around a lot of people, especially on like when I'm inside a building, and then the attention goes on me, and the blushing follows, and the redness and the pressure from that. Not only do I have a sense of myself slipping away from myself, but yet when the time comes, I have a sense of holding on to myself so tightly with such a microscope and a spotlight. I put all this pressure on myself, even though I don't feel like I'm a real person. It's just like, where can you even go to just get away? There's no rest here. No rest here. I mean, maybe once in a while when you sleep, it's maybe my favorite part of the day sometime, or skateboarding or something on a good day, but this place is wild. The fact that this even exists and this like can happen is just absolutely mind-boggling. It's beyond me. It's one of the reasons I believe in God and Jesus, because that's the only thing anymore that actually fills me and makes sense. It's like parables and things like that, and things I can actually feel in my soul that have existed. But other than that, I feel like a fucking painting most days. I feel like I just exist only in a certain aspect, and even that, it's just like I feel like I'm smeared all over the place, and can look pretty one day, then the next day you look at it and it looks like a big shit show. But I don't know, dude. It's nice when I can hear other people talk about it too. It makes it feel less lonely, but it's such a lonely thing. It's even worse than being alone, I think, sometimes. Glad I have other people's support. I got a great woman and kid and mom and stuff, but it sucks because when it gets so bad, you don't even feel like they exist either. You just feel like everything is just empty. It's like you're looking at a carcass everywhere. It's like you don't even know what's bullshit and what's not bullshit. You know, you can like feel it, but you feel like you're looking at ghosts. And these people that mean so much to you sometimes don't even mean anything sometimes, because, you know, you can't even get a mental grasp on reality or yourself. And if you don't think you exist, I mean, how in the world are you going to think anybody else exists? I don't know. It's ridiculous. But it's nice to talk about it, I suppose, and continue praying and striving to heal myself. But man, hopefully next week's better than this one.